charge? He's not here. So why don't we open our meeting of the New Orleans County Council? Lead off with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Form here, Doug, thanks.
Made it just in time.
You
Drop it off. Yes.
I guess first of all, the minutes of our meeting on December 11th sent out to us. Does anyone have any changes or modifications or additions?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, so got the first and the second. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, some of these are hot off the press, so we'll start with transfers that we need for the end of the year. We'd like to transfer $50,000 in the LATCF fund from other services, courthouse maintenance, which is for services, and we'd rather put that in capital outlay, which we can do work with the building. So I just put it in the wrong category when we first got the money. So it's just moving it from one line item to another. That's all these are.
You know,
There's nothing extra.
That's the fund that we got from, I guess, the federal government that we have to spend, you know, this type of thing. So I think we had discussed in previous meetings, Scott, you know, had some issues with the basement drain, and I think he's working on that, or he's got.
It's about finished. I think it is.
So, I mean, those are the kind of things that, you know, we like to use this fund to pay for. So that's really all I can say. I think this is our second
This is the second tranche.
trend. So I'm going to use the other to do carpeting and some other stuff for the courthouse, upgrading the security.
I put it in repair and maintenance, which it really should be in building. So that's just a,
I'll make a motion to transfer the funds.
Okay, 50,000, transfer your approval. So I'll second it. So these two on the end here. Okay, any further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Anyone opposed?
okay. In the general fund, the prosecuting attorney we had one deputy leave and get paid out their PTO time, so there's not enough in that line item. And the other deputy line item, she didn't hire, so there was a time where there's nobody hired, so we're gonna move the money from the one to the other to cover the shortfall, $1,070.60. I don't like to move salaries without having it on writing.
Any discussion on that or questions on that? Okay, otherwise I'll entertain a motion to approve that $1,070.60. Okay, Doug has made a motion. I have a second. Meredith has seconded, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
In the jail, we're gonna move $6,846.98 from personal services, which is split between two, academy training and a deputy, into uniforms. $6,846.98.
Any questions on that? Discussions? I don't know if you did that either, but.
See what?
I didn't see it on the email. It's okay. I just didn't know if I missed it.
This is one we did this morning.
That's fine.
Sorry.
It's no problem.
Yeah.
So, from my purposes, I guess, when listening that well, can you repeat that again?
Okay.
So it's going from,
We're gonna take money out of academy training and deputies, which is in personal services,
okay,
and we're gonna move that to uniforms, because uniforms was over, they paid more than
okay. Okay, and this is.
because there
this
was
is for the-
academy training, there was $6,441.96 left over in the year, and there was a deputy that didn't get paid, so there was money in his line item, so $405.02.
Okay. All right, any discussion on that? Further discussion? Otherwise, I'll again entertain a motion to approve that transfer.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfer.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion, might I have a second?
I'll second.
Sonia has seconded, so any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Okay, on the highway. The highway is unique in that you guys budget one fund for highway, but the state statutes makes us split it into, there's a law that says they have to spend at least 50% of their money that they receive by MVH on road preservation. There's three things, right? And so we take half of what you guys budget and put it in the restricted fund. Now, they've got some money that they want to flip back and forth. We've spent over our 50,000, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but this is moving money. One's moving money from the highway to the restricted, and the other one's moving restricted to the highway, so they can clean up their line items. So I'll do them one at a time here. So equipment operators and foremen on the highway side is going to go to the restricted side. She's got two different amounts, $57,162.29 and $10,349.36. We're just moving them from one side to the other. It's still the highway, if that makes sense.
So we've met all our legal requirements.
We've met our 50%. Yes, we're over 50%. When we get MVH money in, we automatically split it, highway and restricted. Until then, we run negative this time of the year because we've spent over our 50%. And so then I have a resolution to move money from the one side to the other. That's the resolution I gave you guys.
What were the numbers again? 57,000.
57,162.29 for equipment operators and $10,349.36 in foreman. And keeps track of what jobs they do and what they're doing for restricted and what they're doing for regular highway. And at every payroll, we transfer back and forth what they got paid out of.
Sandy, does your office do that transferring, or do they do that at the highway?
And keeps track of it and brings it in, and then I do the transfer back and forth.
Okay. Questions on that? It's a complicated thing. I've sat in meetings of state. I see it. It's a complicated affair. Getting that transfer, to use that, and I think they were trying to make legislation that they possibly change some of that, but
God, please do.
you know.
The reason I say that is because there's a way you can say we spent our 50%. That's got to be a lot easier than doing manual corrections every 2 weeks. And this kind of stuff at the end, flipping and flopping to make it. It's just they've done a lot of human interaction, which we're human, we can make errors. But yeah, all to make sure you spend 50% of it, which we always go over our 50%.
Can I have a motion maybe to approve that transfer?
I'll make that motion.
Sonia has made a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Alex has seconded. Any other discussion on that? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
That one, then we're gonna do the opposite way for the assistant supervisor, $1,502.72, and equipment, $17,492.64. They're taking it from the restricted back to the highway.
Do these numbers represent what we have to do more or less, or is this?
Well, you guys already have budgeted it.
Okay.
It's already in the budget. This is just moving it around in the categories of a budget. There's 4 categories in a budget.
Okay.
There's personal services that pays people. There's supplies. There's other services, which are like utilities, that kind of thing. There are services. And then there's capital outlay, which is building equipment, books, things that are more permanent, furniture, that thing. So they're moving this from equipment from one side to the other.
Okay. Thanks.
That makes sense.
Any other discussion on this, or questions for Sandy? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that transfer.
I'll make motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Ryan has seconded. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Oh, I need some cold.
Yeah, we just can't have anything in any line item negative. So this is cleaning all that up, making sure nothing's negative. They're not asking for more, they're just moving things around. Okay, and then I had sent you all a copy of Resolution 2023-18, which is a joint resolution of the County Commissioners and the County Council to adopt and approve an interlocal cooperative agreement with the government of the city of Jasper for the extension of 15th Street and construction of the bridge over Crooked Creek. So the 15th Street Bridge that we've been working on. The commissioners signed this on December 18th at their meeting. And then they need you, it's a joint, so,
Commissioner signed it too also.
yeah, they signed it last week already. I think I sent you all a copy of it.
Yeah, you sent it to us too.
Do you have any other questions on it? I think it's kind of self-explanatory. You know?
You guys you did the $1 million
Right,
last meeting.
1,150,000.
And yeah, you've done it the last 3 meetings, I think, because originally Brent thought it was just gonna be for the design, and they did design and construction.
Okay, so that's resolution
2023-18.
Any discussion, otherwise I'll entertain a motion to approve that resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
Meredith has made a motion, may I have a second?
I'll second.
Ryan has seconded, so any discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
It looks like I'm skipping numbers, but I'm not. Commissioner Sullivan, 19. So this is Resolution 2023-20. This goes back to the highway, moving money from the highway fund into the restricted fund to cover the negative balance for over the 50% that we've done. $1,133,084.22. So you can see we overspent our requirement.
Discussion. Otherwise, I'll open it up for approval.
Okay,
Make a motion. Anyone?
I'll make a motion for
okay.
2023-20.
Ryan has made a motion. I have a second.
Second.
Alex has seconded. So any discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I don't have any more transfers, but I would like to request if we do find anything else, which they're searching right now, and I have a blank just in case, but they haven't said anything. If we find anything today, I'd like to have give Mike approval that I can call him and have him sign off on it.
You don't want to have a special meeting?
No, I don't have time. Can't advertise one anymore unless you want to meet Saturday.
How many days do you have to advertise? How many days?
10 days ahead.
It's 10 days.
You have to do an emergency one. You have an emergency is 48 hours.
Okay, got it.
Alex, you mind resigning that?
Oh,
Checking it. Oh, oops.
Can we vote by email?
That's a good
If
question.
you send it out, can we just approve it, all of us?
Well, I can do that. I can send it to y'all and then you guys can respond. But if you give him permission, I don't intend to find any. They've been scouring this morning and we found the one, but yeah, the department heads are really pretty good about letting us know. It's just those ones that slip through, you know?
So
Can you do permission to let you
just a show of hands.
consensus, whatever it's gonna take?
Just don't give it up.
And you can still send it out to us.
Oh, absolutely.
That's not a big deal.
I don't foresee any, but there could come something in today that we're trying to pay all the bills for this year. There's some that you have to encumber, you just don't have a choice, but. And then I'll have a list of encumbered stuff next meeting for you guys in January.
I think next on the agenda is the health grant. You know, I was looking back here, this grant started, or was offered to the county back in 2021. I had those dates, I guess close here or something here. Let's see here.
We received ARPA funds in March of '21.
Right, I think that's correct. But the council, the commissioners and the council agreed and signed a joint application agreement on September 17th of 2021. And then we had spoken to the city of Jasper to do a joint effort, and that's what this help was supposed to do. It was supposed to have, collaboration between two cities or a county and the city to do a bigger project. And they said it would be $1 million grant, if we would be successful in our application. So when we entered it, I shouldn't say naturally, but we did get approved for this $1 million grant. At that time, I think we were all thinking, we had to set aside 30% of our ARPA funds in order to be eligible for this. And then they would come up with a project with those 30% and then add this $1 million to it, that we thought we would be able to do a bigger project or help us. I think individually, the county thought this is going to help us on our sewer, sanitary sewer, regional sewer district. Well, we got into it, and I had Sandy, I can't remember how many people, but we had, a lot of people, Craig Rollick and
Probably about 10 of us from Du Bois County.
But we went up to the State House, and we had this, state capitol on June 23rd of 2022, and we were awarded for the second, they call it the second cohort. And after we went up there and were awarded that by the governor, I guess, or lieutenant governor, we started our cohort timeline. This was pretty intense. We had different meetings locally. We had to go up to Crane Tech Center. We spent three
whole days up there.
3 days up there, and this was all the expenses that we had to incur as a county and city. They didn't pay us to do this. So we put a lot of time and effort in this, but it was constructive, and it was they had people from Ball State, educators from Ball State and Indiana State or Indiana University. I'm sorry, but we put a lot of time in this, and then we held pathway. We broke down into pathways, and then we opened it up to the public to have. We had 4 pathways, and then we had to set up these pathways on different nights, get public input to how we would spend this $1 million. Okay, or this.
Get ideas.
Get ideas, right. So anyway, we got down and I think our last strategic meeting, I got here and we adopted our phase in June of 2023, which is this past year. But as we got into this, we found out a lot more. We couldn't use our sewer, the $1 million on our local sewer, because we have to have a low income,
There's a low income eligibility
right.
to it, and
And it was-
Hayesville didn't qualify.
And with Region 15, they thought, well, we probably wouldn't qualify. There's too many farmers up there, you know what I'm saying? We'd have to do individual things that people are getting this service. So it was gonna cost us $50,000 to do some kind of a survey to get this done. And we thought, this is something, and the city of Jasper wanted to do, they had the wellness center that they wanted to put this $1 million towards, or some of it, and spend part of their ARPA funds on that regional wellness center. Well, again, if we would use this $1 million, we would have to it would have to be for low income people, the wellness center. So it got really complicated. So we thought, what we decided to do as a group, we decided to do 300,000 of that $1 million toward the TRICAP to help them with classes of low income. Actually, they're low income people. So we put 300,000 in that, and then we put the other 700,000 into residential rehab for low income. So we're
Owner occupied.
that'd be owner occupied. For roofs and windows, that kind of thing. It's kind of what TRICAP does in some ways. But anyway, that's how we, as a group, that's how we decided to go with it. And we asked Region 15 to manage this for us. Okay, so they gave us a contract or a proposed contract that they were wanting to do of us for $70,000 to manage those two grants. Well, after we didn't get into it that deep, but we promised them that's what we'd go to. And I think the commissioners approved it, that we would do that. Well, then we get when they get into the final contract with the state says they can't use the 2.5% of the money for running the grant. So that's 2.5. That's $25,000. So they're way. We were way off. They said they can't do it. They'll lose too much money. So they were gonna. I mean, they aren't gonna get out of it, but they were asking for our help of trying to find the solution to this. So last Wednesday afternoon, we sat down, city and county, sat down, and we had been talking about it overall, but we decided that we would, the county would give out of the ARPA funds another $15,000, and the city of Jasper, out of their ARPA funds, would give another $15,000. And then they have an environmental review that they can use that they don't think they're going to have to do, but that would give an additional $5,000 to Region 15. So what happens? Region 15 decided that they would cut their expense or cut their cost of the grant, and so we would have a total administrative fee of $60,000 that Region 15 would get paid. So, I think it was a good effort to try to keep this thing moving, because we have to do it. We don't want to give away, as a county or a city, $1 million. And these, that we've got this grant money, and it's not matching grant or anything, because we're still using our 30% of the ARPA funds are still going or designated for the regional sewer district. So we're not losing any money. We're just not, when we were dangling the carrot for that $1 million, we thought it could be used a lot easier, and it's just too
We're
much.
just not getting the extra that we thought we could have possibly gotten.
Exactly.
And that takes away the timeline for the sewer district. I mean, that was kind of the hurry for that.
No, it's still, that's ARPA money.
Well, the
So we still have a timeline to figure out
ARPA
that.
money has to be dedicated by the end of 24 and spent by 26, the end of 26. So that's why if we get moving on this regional sewer next year, we can spend a lot of that.
Quick.
because that's what it's dedicated for, basically. We've done almost all the other projects. There's only one hanging out there yet for the Patoka Sewer District, so.
So this owner occupied improvements, low-income improvements, we want to get that. We promised Region 50 we would help spread that word. That's not for Jasper, it's not for the county, it's for everyone in the county. It's open to anyone. So,
So Region 15 will be taking the applications and processing them, and then we'll be finding out, like setting the parameters.
again, it's a lot of work for Sandy's office because the county is the lead on this. The application, I read it the other night here. We're the lead on it, so we have to, as far as the audits and all this stuff, it's all gonna go through Sandy's, the auditor's office in the county. So, I know a lot of you weren't on, some of us were all here for this health thing and, because, but, a lot of you weren't, so it was, I don't know, I can try to answer any questions between us two, I think we can do it if you've got any other questions.
Was Huntingburg Housing Authority at those meetings?
No,
And could they go toward multifamily units and like low income?
I think it has to be owner occupied.
I guess.
I think so.
Because I know they could use some money in some of the ones down, the HUD house developments in Huntingburg.
Yeah, when we got into it, we had a lot of input on different projects, but everything we wanted to do didn't fit.
That's the question.
Didn't
that I
meet the
would have.
qualifications.
Don't they give that list of criteria before? It seems like people put a ton of work into this only to find out later that it's like, gee, sorry,
We even
that's
hired a
another-
coordinator for a
Very
year.
small, specific list of.
Yeah, we were required to hire a coordinator, which we had to pay half or something, and they gave us grant for the other half.
That
Yes.
was right. Okay.
The Huntingburg meeting only had 6 public people there, but I think the main thing they were wanting was childcare, but I didn't really understand how you could do that with this money.
Right. Well, and then the other thing we talked with TriCap about was, yeah, we can give you $300,000 to run a classroom for 1 year, but then what are they gonna do with their staff and their people after that? So they're gonna do it to improve their classroom and get equipment and get a sensory room and get stuff that's gonna last for them.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, I wish we would have known.
It was a little bit.
Yeah. Nice to be more.
It was a good program and it's gonna help the county, but it wasn't what we thought when we went into it.
do you think I can pass this letter after our meeting, we had asked Nathan to elaborate on RFP, because this would be an amendment to the contract. But I'm going to pass it around and read it, if you want to read it. It's hard to, it just seems like a year and a half or whatever this took, it was just a lot of work, and sometimes we felt, I shouldn't say, but it's somebody misled a little bit that we weren't given given, like you're saying, the information out front there. Then would we apply for the grant?
Right.
Possibly not. I don't know if it would have taken this, but it
Well,
did. It does.
It would at least save us a lot of time in
Yeah.
knowing, well, we need to put the money towards this type of a project. So we search out and see, are there any projects like that? Then it would give us more time to, instead of, at the very end, trying to hurry to find something and see it.
I'm very thankful that Lisa Gilhausen with Region 15 sat on these meetings with us. She helped guide us a lot because she knew the Oka rules that we didn't know.
She was taken back too, because the standard fees were always
7 or
8%.
8%.
And here we put this in
2.5 or whatever.
2.5%. It's it put us all in a bind.
So do they keep Ryland in the dark? When you have a liaison specifically on
Well-
this project, how does she not know some of this stuff?
She was not, that wasn't what her job was. Her job was to create this
Yeah.
strategic plan. And she knew it was a 1-year project. So,
But, to your question there, I kind of think, again, this never came up, the management of this, or that it had to be a low income. I think it was like this past year, we just found out we were all through our hands that we thought, well, how,
So they kept her.
you know, we were so limited because we're not in a, financially depressed area completely here. So I mean, we got depressed areas. but-
Wouldn't like the internet projects to get into the outlying parts that no one covered, would that work for some of this?
That's a separate program.
That's
isn't it?
separate.
Or
And we
there's a
did
whole
put a
separate
lot of our
policy.
ARPA money towards that.
Right.
And it's complete. I mean, the pole, big ready.
Everything is
complete.
okay. I was wondering if anything else should be put on the
Just-
could be.
Yeah, there was very specific.
What,
rules.
Mike, what about those USDA loans for, lower income people? Can they contribute anything to those that they do out at the service center in Jasper? I didn't know if it covered closing costs or something for those. Is that possible?
I mean, that could be, I think, I'd like everyone, I think when, we'll get Nathan back here when we get this open and, he'd like for all of us to get the word out because we do have, it won't be 700,000, but it will be close to that. That we want to get out and, to do improvements in the county. So any, those type of things, that would be a great idea if it's eligible,
Yeah, I just didn't know if it'd be
You
eligible.
And I couldn't tell you that, so.
This, like what Alex was talking about, that Huntingburg,
Housing authority.
yes. That was, there was some unflattering news on the radio this morning.
Oh,
when I was
that
driving
water
up there.
issue. I think got low water pressure at the apartment complex down on the northeast side of town, and I don't know the details. I don't think it's a city supply issue, but it's probably a rehabilitation issue for the complex, the way it sounds to me.
And the complex is privately owned down.
Yeah, well, it's a HUD thing, so I don't know how involved the feds are with the housing and urban development thing. Those, I don't know if they call them section, whatever, those section 8 housing, I believe. But they do have an office and stuff, and they own more than one property. That's why I asked Mike right away if the multifamilies
That's what, yeah.
qualified, but since I think it is federal involvement, maybe they wouldn't, even if multifamilies did. So.
Well, there was a lot of mud bits flying on the radio this morning.
Yeah, that's kind of
So I guess I'll continue, I've added this timeline to what we had gone through and how it all fell together, but any other questions on it?
When will that, I know if we go ahead and approve this, when will this take effect then?
Um,
When will the details
Region
start working?
15 will submit our application in mid-January, and then we're hoping to start work on the actual stuff in probably early spring.
In other words, for detailed criteria of what the requirements are and stuff.
Right.
So I mean, is that,
To get it out, that the individual, after we get the application approved.
so in other words, everything is done, what the requirements are gonna be to meet, to be eligible.
Right.
And then once we do this application, then we'll start drawing money down to actually, and getting applications from the public for houses to work on, because they have to hire an inspector to inspect the houses to see what needs to be done.
So I mean, if anybody's got any, within construction, if anybody has that, they looking for an engineer or somebody that's running construction, they can go out and check to make sure the roof's put on there right. And that kind of thing. We're not gonna,
It won't be an employee, it'll be a contract of some sort.
so that's gonna be part of the cost too, but
And that employee that'll sign off on that it's done, that it meets the criteria, and then Region 15 then pays the contract.
No, we pay it.
we're gonna pay it. It goes through the county. That's the
Everything
one
comes
thing
through
we
us.
didn't realize. We thought they would manage everything, but now we have to make the contracts. The county commissioners do, and we have to pay it, and we have to come up with the money to pay for it, then we get the money.
Get
back.
reimbursed.
Mike, what was the program that lady was talking about a few months ago? I'm drawing a blank on remembering the details. They did some kind of home improvement, but I'm not remembering who that was from. They were willing to contribute so much money to I thought it was roofs. Remember that?
Hmm. Yeah, I don't remember that
I
either.
just didn't know what, was that TriCap or who was doing that?
Was that a few?
It's been a while. I think it was actually budget time. It flies so much, but she came in and just gave a 5-minute spiel on the little things she wanted us to spread the word about, and I don't remember exactly.
It was Procap. That was Procap. I'm pretty sure.
What did they do exactly?
They have a program
It
that
was
does
rough,
like
right?
weatherization of houses
Yeah,
and
what is it?
So
So she would have some good leads.
we to discuss that, they are definitely gonna be a part of this.
So basically, it'll be local taxpayer dollars will contribute to the 15,000, and then the rest of the,
we're gonna use the ARPA money.
Yeah.
oh, that's ARPA money too.
So it's
Okay.
not tax.
So then the only thing, well, I'm just trying to, trying to understand it clear. So then the only thing that actually will be county taxpayer money will be the extra administrative costs that you guys will have to absorb.
Time and materials in my own
Okay.
case.
So I mean, if you look at it like that, if we can administer this correctly and not, that there's not a lot of fat and money waste everywhere, it can be a good project for the lower income people in the county.
Improve.
We can, it can be a good thing. It's if it gets administered correctly, now the commissioners will then hire or will approve for who's gonna do this.
We'll have
Will
to-
this be Indiana 15?
We won't hire somebody, we'll have to do a contract. It'll be a contract.
Who will approve the contract
Right.
then? The commissioners, or will that be through Indiana 15 or?
I think they're gonna be helping us, but I think the commissioners are gonna be the ones that have to,
They have to open it up for bids and,
For each individual project?
know for inspector and then we will take applications and have a committee that has to go through the applications.
right.
Okay.
So that'll be like a
We'd like
part-time
to-
job for somebody.
We'd
to
like to
administer.
lump sum, like 5 homes or 5 houses or 5 projects, and then do them, and then award one bid to maybe one contract.
For a contractor
okay.
to.
I mean, it wouldn't be like we're gonna manage the roof and then somebody else gonna do the windows.
That's what I was trying to understand. Okay,
It'd kind
okay.
of be one contract.
Okay, okay, I get that. And then it's all bid out
And
and
possibly for,
We're hoping if we get 30 applications in, we can say, these 10 need roofs, let's bid this as a project. These 10 need furnaces, let's bid this as a project. That's what we're hoping.
well, then if it's done that way, then that'll reduce the likelihood of waste,
And all that happens until the fund is exhausted, or is it like?
Well, there's only
just do it?
$700,000 in
Right,
that
and
fund, so.
I mean, their thought
I guess
was,
that goes
and
fast, right?
sometimes is to continue this.
Yeah.
With more state funds to continue this program. Now, again, when we said that and when we were doing that, we didn't know, again, that it would be this complicated and involve the county. We thought this would be, the Region 15 would do everything, but that's not necessarily the case, so.
Now, and we will reiterate, the county's the lead, but Jasper is a partner, so they are working with us on it.
Okay,
And I think they gave approval to their 50, their 15,000. I got an email anyway this morning, sounded that way. So we would keep the ball moving here.
and they did that at their last meeting.
Did it. Okay, if there's no other discussion on that. The only, I guess we really ought to think about future meetings.
Yes, that's next on my agenda.
And I don't know, I came up with
It's
some
our
dates.
January one, so.
Yeah, January 29th, 4:30. So February, again, if this doesn't work for somebody, if you say it works today and then at the end of the month it doesn't work later on here, we can still possibly change it. But February 26th is what I was thinking. If anybody, February 26th. And then,
That's okay with me.
is that all right, at 4:30? That's the last Monday of the month. Okay, March would be the 25th. It's the last Monday of the month.
That might be,
I can't
that's
do
spring
that.
break.
That's spring break.
Yeah, I can't do that either.
Okay, so we want to, I mean, the 18th is fine. That's why I didn't know when, I didn't look at the breaks.
I'm okay with 18th.
So March, we can go on March 18th. Is that all right?
Do Woods County and Davis County have the same spring break?
Well, Good
Yeah.
Friday's
That's
that,
big news for you.
Next year, they have the whole same schedule for fall.
Good Friday's that Friday, that's probably why. Good Friday's that Friday,
Oh, the other.
that's probably why.
Okay, and then I come up here April 22nd.
So there are 5 Mondays in April. Do we always follow with the last, try to follow the last
Whatever
Monday?
works for your
It doesn't really
schedule.
matter then.
I didn't know.
You just chose April, I got it. Okay.
The reason I did that again is is because Memorial Day is on the 27th, so I would put not as many weeks.
I'm okay with
But
the 20.
it's up to you,
So the 22nd.
if that's okay,
Yes.
April 22nd.
Absolutely.
And then, I've got, June 24th.
May, what did you say?
And May
Did you
20th.
say May 20th then?
Yeah, I'm sorry, May 20th, and then, which is the Monday before Memorial Day,
Yes.
a week before.
Okay.
And then, June 24th, that's the last Monday of the month. And holler if it doesn't work, or,
I may have somebody else sit with me that my daughter gets married that weekend, so I may not be here that night.
Wow.
June
Hey.
I mean,
I
Which is
might
fine,
have
I can have
vacation
somebody's-
That time, I'm not sure.
we can move it to
Yeah,
the
I'll
7th.
figure it out, definitely.
It's,
Like,
she,
Which one are we on?
July.
well, June
June
20th, let's
24th.
discuss June
Oh.
24th first, so.
Oh.
Does, is that a problem, you think, or do you?
I can have somebody sit here.
She's the secretary of the council, so, she really ought to be
She is
here.
pretty important.
So,
Say-
I think it's the next week, actually. I think it's like that July 4th week that we're, something
it seems like now we could change it to the 17th. If it's no.
works for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Instead of the
Okay, with me
24th.
too? Yeah.
Well, let's just do it then.
Can I ask about 2 other meetings? See if they would work at a different time?
Okay, you okay with June 17th?
That works for me.
Okay. Let's do one then. Let me- So we're gonna move it to. Okay, so you wanna do July 1st? That's as far as I was gonna go, is July 1st. Then we get into budget hearings and that kind of thing. So July, I had the 29th,
Yes.
if that works for everyone.
Okay, not July 1st, July 29th.
No, I saw that's first, that's July.
Okay. So July 1st is a Monday.
And
Okay.
just a week ahead.
Sorry, okay, July 29th.
Yeah, 4:30. If that's you all around, so
I'm getting
okay.
there.
So now, everybody got those?
Yep.
Now,
Right,
when you do get into August, we're gonna have to work on a budget workshop day.
right, but I didn't wanna get in, I thought maybe leave that alone for a little bit, if that's okay. That's the 6 months here.
Mhm.
August gets complicated.
The February 26th, I have a flight that gets in too late. We'll be here till last Thursday. So I don't know if that the 19th.
That's a holiday.
Yeah, President's Day, that's the problem.
Can we do, just do Tuesday?
Can we do Tuesday the 27th?
You don't have to be here. You still have a quorum. But no,
Got a
you can't
doctor's
call in.
appointment on 20th of February.
I mean, you can keep, yeah, that's right, you can keep the 26th, but then I could do the 27th, 28th, 29th, or whatever.
So on the President's Day, you're saying we can't move it to the Tuesday then for him, or what?
Well, we can move it to the 27th. We can't do it on the 19th because it's President, I guess the council.
If we do the 27th and 8th, I'm gonna go to Houston for a program, so I don't know that I can do later that week.
Did the 20th work?
I got a doctor's appointment
On the
right
20th?
after school, yeah. I mean, we can do the 21st.
Well, what if, is there a law against pushing it back an hour? Or
You
is
can
that
do whatever
just in
time
case
you
you're
want.
late? Well, you hate to push it
My
back
flight's
because
at
your
4.
flight's late.
You
Yeah,
guys
that
move
means
it for me, I'd be
Yeah,
pissed.
never mind. Just talking.
You're not going to Commodity Classic, are you? 'Cause it's that week.
The 21st of February on a Wednesday, would that work?
That's on a Wednesday.
Oh, is it that week of the
It's
20th?
a Tuesday, as it starts, the 27th.
Oh, it does, okay. I wouldn't plan on it, but.
I just didn't know, I thought you might.
Yeah.
And is that,
When? I mean, I gotta look at something else, I'm supposed to go somewhere else.
the only, I don't see any issue with
Alex,
that
there is,
on
yeah.
another day, except when you tell people, Well, I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, we can do it on Wednesday.
Do whatever you want.
I mean, it's not like we.
The only time you can't do it is when commissioners are in session, because they're here.
Maybe once or twice a year, huh?
You can't do it during the day when a commissioner's in session, because they're already here.
So at this point then, we want to go February 21st?
Up to you guys.
Did I have an objection to it on a Wednesday, 4:30?
Is that when you're Commodity Classic?
No, that's the week that Ryan needs to move it back. The original date, 27th and 8th and 9th is what that is. I mean, I can.
I said the 21st is fine.
21st Wednesday, if everyone could be here, I
Well,
think.
let's do it the 21st. I mean, it's- Okay, so that's February 21st.
So was there another date in there, Ryan, that you needed?
Yeah, just one more.
Okay.
And it was May, I don't have the details yet, but the May 20th. We fly back from somewhere, and I don't know what time. But the 21st would work, and the 22nd, and the 23rd, and the 27th.
I am at auditor's conference that week, so,
That whole week of the 20th.
it's usually the Wednesday and the Thursday and the Friday.
27th Memorial Day.
But we do the 21st,
When did,
Tuesday.
when did we
I
decide
might be-
February one is?
21st.
I might,
February went to 21st.
I might be on the vacation that week as well, or something, but that's after we have.
Okay.
So May 20th.
That's around.
Well,
So,
so you'll be gone?
I'll be back on the 20th, I just don't know what time, I'm sure it'll be late. We could, and that's a little ways away, I can wait till our flights are booked.
Why don't we do that?
Okay.
Because we can still change it, can't we? Is that an issue?
I may be having issues that time too.
On the 20th?
I don't know which week we're thinking about,
which
because
month are we in?
I get out of school,
May.
you know,
I'll
that
be
week
here.
before.
We've got the first four.
I'll be glad, I don't schedule anything today.
Okay, well, let's shoot for those dates and then.
Okay, can you go through those again?
Okay, I got the January 29th, then February 21st, and then March 18th, April 22nd, May 20th, June 17th, and July 29th.
Okay.
So the only one that's out as an odd date is that Wednesday on February, instead of Monday.
When did you have in June?
I'm up to 17th,
17th and then 20th.
29th on July. So one of them be, because we won't meet again until the end of the month, next month, so if that's.
Do you want to make any more for the rest of the year? Just
I thought,
contingent on-
I'd like to have discussions, honestly, on how we handle our budget hearings. I mean, I think it gets somewhat stressful in one day. I don't know what the answer is, if it can be 2 days. It still seems like it ought to be during the day, because, you know, if we do it in the evening, you do one day and then the evening, well then everybody that has to come in that's a department head, then they have to come take off, you know, they could comp whatever, you know, comp time or whatever they could probably be eligible for, because we've asked them to come in. So, I mean, I know it affects some people here, to be, or if it's try to, you know, if it's from 8 to 4, 8 to 5, 2 days.
It doesn't affect me. I mean, I would always take a vacation day anyway, so I can do a half day, and if that splits it up, I think that's great. I think might be fresher. I mean, in some ways, I could see that.
It's probably gonna take a day. and a
That's
half.
Ryan's wife's gonna bring her Billy bars.
It would affect me with a certain number of days.
So how are you,
It would affect me with.
I know that's
personal
the
time
time.
and all that stuff.
That's what I'm saying. That's the bad part.
I mean, if we and then, you know, maybe 2 other days do evening or something like that, or
I mean, it probably
Yeah,
still brings in.
People outside of their normal work hours.
Right. I mean, because they probably would be eligible for comp time.
what if we
some
go
of
through?
them. Maybe we could save those non-exempt people for the evening.
And
It's just hard to schedule it.
Hard to schedule.
And I think it worked out good this past year when we started getting some in July. you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, because
So ones that are less, to go
you
through.
know, it worked good. And boy, that's a long day from 8 to 9.
What if we,
It's a big day.
what if we continued, like we brought some in early in July? What would be so wrong with going ahead and doing everybody that day? I mean, I was good until, you know, we got finished with all the people coming in at 4 o'clock. But then when we do all the evening where it's just us sitting here haggling back and forth, if I would have had a day to think about it, I might have done a few things different. So would it be wrong with doing some in July, the rest of them, the department heads come in August, and then take a day and then maybe wait and then an evening or so later, after we can review our notes and kind of come up with thoughts in our head, then we get together in an evening as a council and do the haggling, if you will. You know what I mean? It's something like that.
Well, yeah, I think that's a good idea. I also think it's a good idea if people have a big change in their budget or something that they're wanting to ask, like adding a new employee or something. Have them come in early and hash that out.
I don't always know that though.
Right, and I know it's not always gonna be,
When I
Yeah,
schedule them, I don't know
if-
what their budget is.
but they would know. And
Well,
they
even
could
if they come-
communicate that with us to, no, you're fine, to come in and.
Even if they come in the same day, if we don't have to make those decisions immediately that night, that gives us a day, or if we do have questions, then we can funnel the questions through Mike that we need to ask, okay, can we get clarification on this from this department? And then we know that stuff when we sit down. I don't know, that's just my.
I like your idea of having everybody come in, or have some people come in June, like you were saying, and then have everybody that day think about it, not have 3 or 4 hours of discussion that night to rush to a decision. I think you're right on,
We can still do them all during the day, so it doesn't affect people's daytime jobs.
and then just have us come back another meeting.
Give us a day or a day of reflection or two, or whatever you guys think is best. I don't care about that.
I would want to follow up the next evening, I think.
Do the next evening.
No, not.
No, I agree with
not. I think wait a day or
Give it a
the
few
following
days, yeah.
Wednesday or this would be Monday. the
If we
following-
take good notes when they're here and the stuff they give us, then it gives us a little time to process.
Well, that's why I didn't want to set a date.
Well, they're so important, it requires a review. Process. I like the idea of sitting up, however it works out.
That was my thought from the
A
beginning.
lot of councils do it 2 days, but I'm not sure.
2 full
that's-
days.
Yeah, that's.
Some counties do it 3 days in a row.
Is that right?
It's just that,
Depends how big they are.
Wow.
Yeah, but if you do it back to back to back, that still doesn't give you time to reflect and.
No. I think it would be a great idea to do all the meetings with your people and then about a week later come back and
go through it
And
again.
go through it.
go through it all.
Because then you can say, hey, did you guys hear it the same way I got it written down?
Sure.
You know,
It gives you- We don't want to wait too long because then everybody forgets, but if you do it, like you say, a week or less,
A few days later.
yeah. Just my thought.
and, you know, I think Kelly will also be coming in sometime.
Put the request in.
She acted like she would be.
She's on.
Okay, I just want to look back here a little bit at what happened this past year. You know, when we started this, we had a couple of vacant seats on our bus, you know, our council bus. And we didn't, you know, I mean, it was a change for all of us. And the new people, I guess I'm pretty proud of, you know, Daryl and Ryan, Meredith, you know, that you've come aboard. I just feel we are a more active council. I mean, you know, in a lot of ways. But you know, we did fill the seats on the bus here with some good people, and then you know, January came and Daryl was still in infancy, but.
January 21st, I think, is when I officially caught
Missed
it.
the first part, but I mean, we were faced with some serious challenges. And I think we handled them well. I think we did a lot of research. So I think we did a good job. I mean, I gotta congratulate everybody here. But, you know, I appreciate, again, the hard work, the involvement. I just think when we had the the attendance at the AIC meeting at Huntingburg, everybody attended. You know, most everybody attended the meeting at Bushwick. It just,
They have that date, do they not?
I haven't seen a postcard, I was gonna ask
I
someone.
didn't mean
if they
to
received it,
interrupt,
I
but-
didn't.
January 31st.
Oh, really, okay.
Yeah, January 31st.
I didn't get that.
I didn't either.
It was just on a little,
Is there a postcard that they sent
they
out?
haven't
I don't
sent out
like
a where or when, but I didn't know if Sonia knew or.
Yes, I got an email the other day, one day, late last week or whatever, I received an email, so I'm gonna be sending you
It's
that.
the 31st.
Okay, where's it at? What is it?
Is it a Wednesday? On a Wednesday?
Yes.
I won't be able to attend to that. So the tickets I have to take my kids on that Wednesday to a performance, and it's part of one of the kids'
Oh,
performances.
yeah.
Shoot.
Where is it gonna be?
Huntingburg.
Same place?
Yeah, same
Let's say
place.
that.
but again, I appreciate that, like I said before, the participation in the meetings. I think that ad, the ad was on your mind, that express it. I think we've got some experienced people with a lot of talents on the thing here on the council, and I think we're all civic-minded individuals, and I think we make decisions with common sense, and I think that's important. I see the coming year similar type challenges. I think we're going to have challenges here, and we have to try to remember that we work for the taxpayers of DuBois County. They're paying our pay, and we have to make fiscal decisions that we have to realize that affect everybody. So with that, I just want to wish everybody some happy new year, a healthy and prosperous new year. So appreciate it. Anybody else make comments? That was my thoughts this morning. So otherwise, we can close the meeting.
And I always have to give input, so that's kind of a double-edged sword. No, I really appreciate, the comments, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. This has been an eye-opener for me. I knew that it wasn't just gonna be, peaches and cream, there'd be some hurdles and stuff, but there's even a little more things that go on that the council does that I had no idea, so I appreciate the opportunity to work with you guys. I mean, it's challenging, exciting, and there's always opportunities to try to help and improve. We're a great community, and I think everybody wants to help, continue that progress, really. We're fortunate to be, in the community we're in, and the people that are here.
I really appreciate the new energy we had. Just right from the start, you guys were just ready to go, hit the ground running and everything, they're throwing. Daryl and you guys just, didn't sit back and watch. You guys were in it and
That's a double-edged
really
sword.
forward to.
Sometimes when it's here, it comes here really fast. That's a double-edged
The
sword.
new ideas and the discussions and everything, I think it helped us improve, our decision making, brought new perspectives and everything. Alex over here was, says stuff that I'm like, where did I actually think of that? Or how did I know to ask that? And
He doesn't
so
say a lot,
we
but he
have a
says
very
it's
eclectic
impactful.
group of individuals that I think does a great job of finding all the questions and perspectives that could be asked and sought out. So
I love the way everybody can work together, have different opinion, but yet it's not it's just taken in as information and everybody works well together.
I think maybe I would just take the opportunity, since we are still live, to invite more people to come to our meetings, or even online, since we have that option. As Mike already said, we do work for you. We all work for you. So the invitation is always here if you want to have people here. So
Anyone else? Otherwise, Alex, great. You have anything, Sandy, or anybody else have any other business? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to close the meeting.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Sonia seconded, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Go to meeting.
Yeah. Public comments?
That's not what I'm looking for.